Welcome to the Louisville Center for Spiritual Living, where we get together on a Sunday morning when it's cold outside and windy, and we don't have to deal with that. And that's kind of neat. I'm really loving Zoom. I'm getting to where I really love this, being able to just come downstairs and not have to worry about, going somewhere or anything. So welcome. We always want to let you know that you are welcome, that we love having you, and that we're here to support you. That's what we're all about, creating a safe, loving space. Okay, so our opening song this morning is God and I Are One by Kai Lee.
I know that there is one life, that life my life now. I know that there is one strength, that strength my strength now. How do I know these things? God and I are one. God and I are one. Only good is present. God and I are one. This I know for sure. God and I are one. Only good is present. God and I are one. This I know for sure. I know that there is one peace. That peace is my peace now. I know that there is one joy. That joy is my joy now. How do I know these things? God and I are one. God and I are one. Only good is present. God and I are one. This I know for sure. God and I are one. Only good is present. God and I are one. This I know for sure. One life, one love. God and I are one. Only good is present. God and I are one. This I know for sure. God and I are one. Only good is present. God and I are one. This I know. This I know. This I know for sure.
All right, let's take a deep breath. When I think of the One, the Spirit, the great I am, the absolute, the ground of all being, I am comforted. And so I just know that this morning, each person here, with whatever they bring, needs comfort, whether it's something outside of themselves or something inside themselves that they are finding confusing or finding frustrating or or maybe even making them angry. So we each can take advantage of knowing truth and knowing the comfort, the willingness, the presence of the one. And so as we breathe in that confidence, we breathe in the comfort, and we know that it is all good right here, right now. So it is. Okay, now we have the opening reading, which is Beth.
Okay, today I have a short story about gratitude. You probably figured out since it's a Thanksgiving month and we're talking gratitude today. This short story is about a blind boy who sat on the steps of a building every day with a hat by his feet. He held up a sign which read, "I am blind, please help." There were only a few coins in the hat, spare change from folks as they hurried past. A man was walking by, and he took a few coins from his pocket and dropped them into the hat. Then he stopped. He took the sign, turned it around, and wrote some words. Then he put the sign back into the boy's hand so that everyone who walked by would see the new words. Soon the hat began to fill up. A lot more people were giving money to the blind boy. That afternoon, the man who had changed the sign returned to see how things were. The boy recognized his footsteps and asked, "Were you the one who changed my sign this morning? What did you write?" The man said, "I only wrote the truth. I said what you had said, but in a different way. I wrote, 'Today is a beautiful day, but I cannot see it.'" Both signs spoke the truth, but the first sign simply said the boy was blind, while the second sign conveyed to everyone walking by how grateful they should be to be able to see. When your life seems full of troubles, it seems difficult to maintain an attitude of gratitude, doesn't it? All we see are our problems, like a black cloud casting a dark shadow over all of our lives. And the times when everything seems to be going smoothly, we often take these moments for granted too, don't we? Caught up in the bliss, comfort, and familiarity of all, we can simply forget to be grateful. So what then is gratitude? Simply put, gratitude is a habit. It's a way of looking at the world and all good things in it with a feeling of appreciation, regardless of whether or not your current situation is to your liking. Gratitude is a heart-centered approach to being at peace with yourself and with all you have. When you practice this feeling of gratitude, it attracts even more things into your life for which you can be grateful for. Go ahead, try it today. What or who do you have in your life to be thankful for? And so it is.
So it is. Okay, we are spending the month of November talking about living as compassionate conduits. And so we've talked about what that means to be a conduit of spirit and several different things, the attitudes toward it and all that. But today we're going to talk about how engaged is God with you? How much time does he spend knowing who you are, being with you? Now, Vernon, pull up that first. last week, the conviction that we talked about was, I am and will be a standard for love in this world. No matter who is listening, I am listening and I am engaged. So that's from our side. We are engaged. The second one, Vernon. And that is something that we have to be aware of and that we are aware of. But how engaged is God with us? The theme for this week is somewhere on this sheet of paper. Oh, there it is. Life, love, God, Spirit is living out its perfect life as us. It is knowing more of itself as us. The only way the Spirit has of bringing forth our vision of a world that works for everyone is through us. So when we were created and became part of Spirit, we were fully a part of Spirit, and we still are. And so Spirit is right with us all the time. It is there to answer our questions, to encourage us, to comfort us, to be an inspiration, to tell us, or give us the clues that we need to know what will take us to the next level of happiness. And so it's there all the time. And we get it. We understand that we are one with Spirit, that all that we are is Spirit. Or if you have a different name that you like to use, you can use different names: the ground of all being, Spirit, the God, the mind. There's just so many of them, and we all have the ones that are our favorites, that speak to us the most about Spirit and what it is and what we are, and how it all goes together. So you get to pick how you're going to reinforce what is true and what you know, that Spirit is in you, bringing forth the vision of a world that works for everyone. Some people think we're down here to be tested and put through the ringer and earn our way. But that's not ever what my understanding and Science of Mind understanding thinks about God. God put us here so that we could experience life, love, happiness, and it experiences all of those things and the sadness through us, as us. Because I'm going to react to depression different than you are. And so that gives Spirit two different reactions to depression. I'm going to express love differently than you are. And so Spirit is getting to express that love through me, in my ways of doing it, and through you and your ways of doing it. Because it is always expressing, always experiencing for itself what is going on and what it feels like, what it looks like, and all of that. So we're here to be that conduit for Spirit, the conduit that allows the Spirit into the world in a way that it can be blessed by it. And so we live our lives most of the time, if we have a class or a Sunday morning or whatever, we get it. We are one with, we're never separate, we're never without. We are simply one with the one. And we can't change that, don't want to change that. Edward Vernoon is the one who made a little recording for this week, and he does some great stuff all the time. And his phrase is that God is with us with its own creation, 100% of the time, engaged all the time. So Spirit is right there for us if we recognize it. And sometimes when we don't, but it's there and it's waiting for us to recognize it and ask it for the help that we need, whatever that might be. And when we know that, then we can turn our attention toward that more and more. Because the big but is Spirit is always with us. Spirit is always giving us everything. But we have to recognize it. We have to welcome it. We have to know it. So I don't know whether you've been through this. I've been through it a number of times. I go on a retreat and I'm so spiritual and I'm so, oh my goodness, it's just, oh, just wonderful. And then I come home and in a few weeks, maybe 2 days, all of a sudden, I'm not thinking about God at all. I'm just thinking about me and how am I going to get everything done that needs to get done, and how am I going to do that, and it feels like I'm doing it on my own again. So that's when we get to remind ourselves that that's not the way it is. We always have Spirit to help, Spirit to guide, Spirit to direct, Spirit to support in whatever it is that we are being called to do and be and say in this moment and this hour. So it's like, smell the roses, stop and smell the roses, and means stop and really know the beauty of the world. Don't just keep going and going, but just actually really stop and smell the roses. Well, we have to stop and know that Spirit is in everything we see, including everything we think, everything we feel. Spirit is there. God is there. The ground of all being is there. And if we will recognize it and call on it, it will act in our lives more openly. It's always acting in our lives, but it doesn't push its own agenda. It's calling us to love. It's calling us to be love in the world and to be a conduit of itself, but it doesn't force anybody to do it. So if we don't ever pay attention, then we miss the whole thing. We go through life thinking we're all alone, when in actuality we're never alone and never can be alone. So this is an old, I don't know if it's a vaudeville joke or a motivational speaker's joke, but anyway, when we talk about commitment, think about a bacon and eggs breakfast. Now the hen, that fluffy little white hen, was committed to breakfast and gave a part of what it could give, and then it was still going strong. So that's a partial commitment. The pig or turkey, some of us are turkey bacon eaters, they are giving everything. They give their lives. So it's not halfway in, it's all the way in, a total commitment. One of the ways that we do this, we have mantras, we play music that reminds us, we go to church services, or we go to classes or whatever. And all of those things are so important to keep us in mind of what is true and keep us in mind that it's always true and it's always there for us. So I was reading some different things, and this one is from this thing called You by Ernest Holmes. He writes little meditations or prayers in the book, and I was reading, and this one was the one that came up, and I think it's really apropos to what we're talking about. Today I realize, wait, did y'all hear me tell you I was going to tell you? I did. Okay. All right. Today I realize that my good is at hand. Today I know that my Redeemer liveth in me. He is not outside that I need to go in search of him. He is not in the mountain, nor even in the temple. Holy as it may be, he is within me now, today, this very moment, in this breath I draw, in the eternal now, in the everlasting here. The Spirit within me refreshes me. I am saturated with the essence of life. My body is a vehicle for its expression, my mind an instrument for its thought. Today, I shall consciously commune with the Spirit. Being aware, being committed to keeping your awareness keen and open is how you can experience the right here, right now-ness of Spirit. It is right here, but you're not experiencing it because you haven't recognized it. You haven't called it forth. You haven't said, hey, that doesn't just go for so-and-so or the guy in the mountain. It goes for everybody. And it goes for me. Right here and right now where I am, Spirit is. Always, always, always. It is here now, and it is here in all of its power. And it lives through me. And so I have the opportunity to recognize that and be a clear conduit for Spirit in the world. So we're going to do a short meditation. And I ask you to think about how often a day do you think about Spirit? How often a day do you stop and say, oh, wow, Spirit, that's great? And or how often a day do you say, the power within me is God? The power I am expressing is the Holy One. The beginning and the end, all of it is right here and right now in its fullness. And ask yourself how many times a day a portion of that thought comes to you. And ask yourself if life would be easier if you knew that you could talk to God all the time, that you could put in your requests, that you could put in your knowledge, your vision for what you wanted, and it was right there all the time, and it's all of its power all of the time. What would that do to how you lived your life, to what you spend your time thinking about? So let's take a deep breath. Great I Am, show each of us in our own ways that you are always with us, always right here in all of your power, just waiting to be called on. Whatever encouragement we have felt, whatever knowledge we have received, we accept and we go forth knowing that we will be reminded by Spirit, its very self, that we are in its life. It is our life, complete and whole. Okay. Vernon, put up the third slide. We won't leave it very long, but let's put up the third slide. I am so grateful that I am fully supported by God. I am so grateful that I am fully supported by God. So I send you on your way this week to enjoy a week filled with awareness of yourself as a conduit for spirit, the ground of all being, mind, first cause, all powerful. Okay. Whatever works for you, whatever is speaks the highest to you about spirit, and tells you the most about spirit in your life. Okay, we are now
Prosperity affirmation.
Okay, here it is. Our lovely little basket that your checks come in, and I bless them all. And not just in November, the month of gratitude that we express here. Every week, as I pick those checks up, I see your PayPal donations, your Givelify donations. I express mine and LCSL's gratitude for each and every one of you, because we couldn't be here without you. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes, and there's a lot of fees and things we still have to pay for. And plus, we tithe ourselves. You as a center, LCSL, 10% of your money goes out to the community and to the corporate CSL. So I want to say thank you, and remember that you can use PayPal or Givelify if you don't want to mail a check to the post office box. Our prosperity affirmation is in the chat, and I'll read it first, and then we'll come back and say it together. Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. I am unbelievably blessed. Yes, say it with me. Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. I am unbelievably blessed. Yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now I will move right into announcements. I wanted to let you know, we don't really have any major announcements or anything like that, but we have an announcement about LCSLonline.org is back up as a functioning page. It had been under reconstruction, and it's one page right now, and it's being developed right now. There are links for you to donate there. You can leave prayer requests there. We'll get those, your practitioners and minister. You can sign up for the weekly update there, which you probably already have. And you can request our Zoom link there if you want to send someone who doesn't already have it. They can do that there. And that's it for announcements. Reverend Carolyn, I think, has one later. But from here, I'll go into our closing treatment, as I am the prayer of the day. So relax where you are and take a breath and bow your head. Knowing Sundays are for joy, how grateful we are to come together again today in such a joyous way. Seeing friendly faces separated only by frames and distance, but joined completely at the heart, mind, and soul. All recognizing one God and one life, and the love that unifies us all as one family. As we leave here today, we understand that Spirit is engaged in us totally, absolutely, and constantly. And we remember that each one of us, individually and all together, are the hands and feet of God, and that the vision of love expressed here is ever and always inclusive. And with gratitude, excuse me, we move our hope for peace, healing, and unity into divine right action as we release these words and ideas into a faithful and impartial law. We absolutely know that as we continue to reconstruct, reorganize, and reevaluate from the collective in the name of what is beneficial for all, we find solutions, we build bridges, and we create a world that works for everyone. And so it is. Amen.